Is we live or is we live? That is the question. Um. Anyway, welcome, people. For those of us who catching the replay or may catch the replay, I'm introducing myself. I am trying to get Thinking Thursday started for us grown folk. It's a wonderful program that I was introduced to when I was younger. With my son was my now 31-year old. Wow, we just had a birthday. Was 9 years old. That's how long ago this was introduced to me. I felt the need to introduce it online now, not only because I thought it was a wonderful program that taught me critical thinking, but because oh, excuse me. Now I got preteens who think like the Y game, that I was teaching you guys, that I taught you guys on the last session, is too baby for them. Anyway, I don't know who is in the bushes. I see one person, live viewer, from the They Love channel. Shout, say hi, hello, come out the bushes. Um, I don't plan on being on here long because, for one, I ain't even gonna lie, it's a wonderful, beautiful day weather-wise. I haven't finished my mint. I just wanted to keep this commitment because I did advertise it and um, promote it for today. But hey, Mama Six, how you doing? But I'm not gonna stay on too long, just because I'm tired. Um, One thing ICPS don't help me with is more energy. How you doing, Mama Six? Anyway, for the new people who might come along and see this video, this is the original book that was introduced to me, Raising a Thinking Child. I've been giving this book away, and also in consideration of the fact that I got preteens, grandchildren, who kind of think these games in here are babyish, although I got um, uh, excuse me, I got toddlers, as grandkids too, as well. So, one of my grandkids is pre-verbal. Well, she pretty verbal, but she's not quite there yet where she can play these games. But close, pretty darn close, cause she do know right from wrong already. You can ask her right now, at 2 years old. Is that? Should you do that? No, 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 or yes, and get it and understand it. Anybody who comes along later and see this video, I'm offering these books to anybody who wants them. All you have to do is contact me. I'm gonna put this um, my link to my email address at outlook.com. That's Faith Life TV at outlook.com, and we can chat. So, Mama Six, I'm glad you joined me on this one because what I've been doing now, I want to gear this class for the older people. This is a workbook for raising and thinking a child, and it has other little projects you can do instead of the little baby games that were introduced in this book. Okay, so um, I got a grown up game. I should say a game that I want the grown ups to play. That's not that will help you with training your brain to think differently. To think differently. Believe it or not, that's what's necessary when it comes to critical thinking and problem solving. You have to train your brain to think differently, to think outside the box, to not just always jump to conclusion and only look at things from one point of view. That's part of what causes a lot of problems with people's relationships, with communication, and this is what I want to solve. Um, it dawned on me that it needed to be done because I'm looking at 40 and 50 years old online. Hey, just Trish, how you doing? Online, and clearly ain't no critical thinking happening, okay? And these people are in their 40s and 50s, and I'm just like, oh my God, what's going on here? If it's not introduced to you, you will never know. And while some people might have it naturally, it's not taught in the schools and it's not typically taught at home. So I wouldn't expect to typically assume that everybody would have it. Some people will call it common sense, but these days common sense ain't so common, not anymore. It's a rare, rare commodity these days. So that is why I'm introducing this. So if you want this book, I have been giving this away. It's no contest, so it ain't like it got to be so many people who sign up or hit me up on my email address. Just say you want to learn critical thinking. If you don't want to go through the classes with me, as I do it on Thursdays, you could just get the book and read it and apply it to your life. I feel like I need more lessons because I got a very oppositional grandchild. Hey, Kareem, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. I got a very oppositional grandchild, and I mean, she stressed me out most of the time, most of the day. And I've got to learn how to use. Well, actually, I have already been using some of the words that cue you into critical thinking. I've been using it all along. They just don't know it. So I'm going to reintroduce those words because I introduced those words in the last live, but I'm gonna do it again for the sake of new people who come along, see this video for the first time. Um, I don't plan on having any cursing words, so I'm not doing the normal disclaimers. But the word pairs. Thank you. Bless you too, my brother, my king. That be giving me all that love and showing me so much respect. I appreciate it. Believe me, I do. I really do. Okay. So last week I introduced y'all to the Y game, but look, check this out. My grandbaby think that's too baby. Or she's so oppositional that she just resists all opportunities to play that game. She just resists it automatically because she in opposition mode and she can't help herself. So I want to introduce it in ways that she don't feel like it's pressure and that hey, good evening, Darius Brooks. I want to introduce it in a way that she don't feel it's pressure and that, plays into her strengths. So like one of my, my posterity's strength is coloring. Um, she likes, she likes artistic stuff. So I'm not gonna discourage that. So in the workbook, I purchased the workbook to supplement the book that I've been giving out. And in the workbook, it has a log sheet, which I took the liberty of actually uploading it to the internet. And I'm going to give you a link where you can get all of these documents downloaded to your own computer. Okay. So the first one is a log sheet. And I'm going to see if I can share the screen to do the log sheet. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to try to share this screen. Share screen. One of my Chrome tabs. Okay, are we sharing? See, now that's the thing. I can't tell if I'm sharing. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know. Is that too small or too big? Can you all see that? If you can't see this, then I won't worry about trying to screen share it. Let me see. I can make it bigger, but then I can't see me, which is okay. That's okay. Well, this is a log sheet, and you can ask me for this log sheet. I'll give you the link. In fact, well, I didn't set the link up right. I'll give you a link for which you can download these sheets to work with. So on this sheet, the first one, it sets it up with a date, and you're trying to implement, remember, how to do these critical thinking things in your family. And the whole premise is based on solving your problems. How do you solve your problems? Do you just argue? Do you just throw your hands up? Some people are silent. Some people are passive aggressive and they become silent instead of, you know, having a verbal exchange with each other. So this log sheet is supposed to help you with a problem you may be having at home. So in this example, it's showing that Lori interrupts me on the phone. That's what this particular family has a problem with. That's the problematic situation. The next column is I'm on the phone, watch TV while you wait. That's a, a sample, a typical of how you respond as an adult when you being interrupted by a phone. Then the child's response, well, I don't want to watch TV. And in his mind, I want to talk to my mom. In conclusion, you, the parent, you introduce the kind of dialogue that will lead them to wait. So the conclusion is, I'll talk to you when I get off the phone. But the child is not happy with that answer. So, and the fact that he's interrupting you, you both end up angry. So the outcome is negative in this situation. Okay, on the next log sheet, after we play the games, hopefully you will be able to solve this situation differently to whereas you won't it won't leave both of you angry. And that's the goal that we're trying to reach and strive for this ICPS game. So I'm trying to share the second large sheet. Okay, there it is. Okay, so with the second large sheet, you can see it's the same problem, and Lori still interrupts her mothers occasionally, but the parents' response has improved now that she's played the ICPS games. Thank you, Mama Six. I appreciate that. Um, uh, the parents' response, and this is what I want to help you all with the kind of language that you need to lead your family into thinking for themselves. So this is how she phrased the question. Instead of Lori just coming in and interrupting, she turned around and she said, "Can I talk to you and my friend at the same time?" Now that's an easy question for the 7-year-old. They can say, "Well, no, you can't actually do that." And then the child, because they've also been getting ICPS training, how to problem solve, critical thinking. No, I can think of something different to do. So what does Lori do? Lori goes off and get a puzzle off the shelf to play with. Now they both felt happy and proud because she was actually, instead of scolding her and saying, "Quit interrupting me on the phone," um, the child has had training, so she's thinking of ways, other things she can do besides mope and complain that her mother's on the phone. And they both end up with a solution that they can live with. They both felt happy and proud. This is what our goals is with this, with what I want to do with this critical thinking program. I'm not going to pretend like I'm any kind of teacher and had any kind of formal training, but I do have this training in the back of my mind, and I just feel like it would be so helpful to other people if they got exposed to it. So now, the first game. Now I'm not gonna. This session is not gonna last till 9. I'm very just really exhausted. Had a long day. I've been picking men all morning, all night, up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Didn't really get but a couple of hours of sleep today, so it's not gonna drag on and on for today. But I did want to have something prepared for you to get started. Okay, so the log sheet is what I want you all to download and take for your personal use. I copied it. I took the liberty of copying it and put it in a format so that you can download it to your computer. Um, it's just a regular JPEG picture, so anybody can should be able to download it, whether you got iPhone or Android or you on a PC. It's in a JPEG format. Pretty much most people um, have devices that's compatible with it. Okay. Now the game that I played with you all as an adult that I told you to go out and do, I said to think about the person you cannot stand. Somebody you just can't stand. It could be Trump. It could be your spouse. See, some people household they can't stand the person they married to. They can't stand their kids. You can't stand a teacher, or you can't stand a particular store clerk or um, government office worker, whoever it is. It could be your grandma. Whoever it is, I am challenging you to think of something, say, to think of something different, something nice about this person. Say, think of something that's good about this person. Now, last week, Miss Carrie Lewis, she joined us late, but she had a great example. She had someone that she couldn't stand, and for a moment she got stuck. And this is what the training that I'm trying to help y'all with is to get unstuck. It's not to be perfect because there's no such thing as perfection in this game. It's just we want to solve the problem and finding new ways to solve that problem. Now she got stuck. Christy Lewis, I think that was her name. Anyway, Christy got stuck because she couldn't think of nothing good to say about this person she couldn't stand. However, she was able to while we were discussing it. It was somebody else, coaxing her. Slide Jones had joined me last week on our critical thinking session, and she was able to say, "Well, the lady dressed nice," but that's all she needed. She didn't need to say. You don't have to rattle off a long list of things. It's just to find one thing, and the significance of the exercise is to make that prefrontal, the left part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, to activate that into thinking more than one way. If you can't stand somebody, you go into a situation, automatically you going in with blinders on, and that's not really a good way to go through life. You have to have an open mind. Take the blinders off so you can have that peripheral vision, and you need that peripheral vision to be able to see a different way to solve a problem. Most of the time people get stuck because they have not had this kind of training. They get stuck, and one problem with getting stuck is that you have never been trained to say, can you think of something different? Can you think of one thing different, one way different to solve your particular problem? Most of the time, if you ask somebody that, they can't. They think of the one thing and that's it. That kind of all or nothing thinking gets us in a lot of trouble. I'm gonna open up the chat in case anybody have questions. They can feel free to talk. Okay, I'm copying the link now. And I appreciate the people that showed up. I'm not too worried, if it's not a full house, because I feel like, it's gonna reach who it needs to reach. That's how I feel. I've been on the internet for over several decades, and some stuff, information be floating around this internet that you will never know is there, but it's actually there because somebody else had that same desire, same interest to look up. So this may not be a burning class where it get thousands of views and then it move up the YouTube streets, but I just want to put it out there in case it's one person out there that would like to be a better critical thinker, that would like to be able to be more easily solve everyday problems without the stress, without a lot of the stress, would like to get your kids to think for themselves. How good is that? When you have a child who can think for themselves, that's the world. That's the world. When you think about problems of this world, parents want their kids to be successful in the classroom, but kids worried about being bullied. They worried about being pressured to do drugs or get into sex, and we as parents don't see things the same way they see it. So this program really helps you see other people points of view, which is so important in critical thinking. You cannot be a group thinker. That's stinking thinking. And that's how you get the Hitlers. That's how you get those extremes like that. Even quote unquote white supremacy. That is a brainwashing that's teaching you to think one way and not think outside the box. When it's the outside the box thinking is what is going to help you get through this life better and with less struggle and strife. I mean, that's just the facts. That's just the bottom line. I personally witnessed it over and over and over in my personal life. And I'm so grateful that I had that kind of training. I couldn't brag or claim that I had it automatically because I didn't. I'm very guilty of the one way thinking, one track minded thinking, or only thinking of one way. Because me, I used to snowball. I think of one way, and that one way don't work. Then all of a sudden, oh my God, this gonna happen, and this gonna happen, and then that snowball turned into an avalanche, and it's all up here in my thinking. Anxiety on 10, not helping nobody, not helping the situation, not helping anybody. So since I do have older teens, I'm not gonna play the goofy games. That's in it. I ain't gonna even call it goofy games. They just more elementary. In the book that I've been giving out, it's really catered to the 3 to 7 year olds. And then the second one is preteens, that geared to 8 to 12 year olds. Either one, I will send you. If you're interested in this book, you see in this video later on, you can just hit me up, Fat for Life TV at Outlook.com, and and you can receive that book. It's not a contest. It's just something I want to do. I want to share it. I feel like it would be a benefit. It is an easy read. If you're intellectual, you'll knock this book out in a couple of days. But it will open your mind up to critically think. Okay, so the lady who did the research, her name is Myrna B. Shore. That's who's the author. She has some help from Teresa Floyd, Geronimo. Anyway, she got this workbook. This is to help with families that got older kids, because they may not sit down and play the why game. Why? Why? I demonstrated that why game with my granddaughter, who we haven't played the game since because she is so busy not playing that game that is, she's so oppositional she can't help herself. So I want to give her other options where we can have this discussion. So one of the worksheets um, that was shown, I know this will help her, and then we both can have that dialogue. Okay, this is the actual worksheet. I would share the screen, but it isn't that all that clear. And what you would be doing is having the discussion using those keywords. Hey Keisha, how you doing? Using those keywords that I was showing you last week. I'm gonna get those words out. You're gonna familiarize yourself. So even if they're not playing the actual ICPS games that's introduced, these word pairs are pairs of words that's going to stay in the back of your mind and help you ICP your way out of any problem. I just call it ICPS because that's the way it was introduced to me. And so, but it's really basically teaching you how to critically think. So the word pairs, let me get the word pairs out. These word pairs are going to be so crucial in you guiding your kids and easing your kids into the thinking that they need to do. Because we're not in the business of trying to tell somebody what to think, but how to think. Those are two different things. Because everybody does not think alike. That's just the fact. That's just the reality of life. And sometimes it's hard for people to accept that. Some people have a hard time accepting that everybody don't think the same way they do. Believe it or not, that person could be you. Believe it or not, it's people that have a difficult time with understanding that everybody does not think the same way as them. So I'm trying to get the word clear. So okay. So one of the word pairs is or is not. Oh, I'm using this all the time. And I gave you all, you said like these people on YouTube, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Especially some of these people on YouTube. You got that right. Is not. Now I gave the audience last week an example of what happened with me, just because I have this kind of thinking loaded in the back of my mind to address any situation. Oh, thank you, Keisha. I'll be forgetting to promote myself too. So that's true. She bringing up the fact that I am still giving away this tablet. This one right here is still trying to give it away. All you have to do is hit me up, stalk my email, stalk it, and put tablet in the subject line. You'll win. The absolute last deadline is June 30th. I've stretched it out for almost a year now, and I just want to go ahead and give it away. I wanted more emails. That was my goal. I was hoping to hear from way more of y'all. But if it's just your handful, the handful I did get to respond, it's just gonna be y'all, and I'll be glad to give it to y'all. Um, just because I do appreciate the support, and it's because I want to pay it forward. It was a blessing to me. I got it in a blessed way, and I want to bless somebody. I didn't want to just sell it on eBay because it's a story behind all these things that I am trying to give away. It's a story behind it. So, it means more to me if I give it away for this reason. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Keisha, for reminding me of that. So back to what the matter at hand. These word pairs, and or or why and because. I taught y'all the why game last week. That's the easiest game to, I don't know. You will not believe how much miscommunication occurs just because somebody is not willing to admit they don't know. Don't be scared to admit you don't know. I used to be scared to admit I didn't know because people considered me smart. I was the geeky one. People was felt free to ask questions. Always, never. Always, never. I hear people use that negatively often. I mean, but it ain't my business to step in when I hear somebody say that. But with my family, I have this training, so I ease them into the fact that nobody always does anything, and nobody, you know, it's nobody that never does anything. So when you start out communication, you always so and such and such. Automatically, that causes the person that you're saying that to become defensive because automatically they're gonna think I don't always do that. Or if you start off the conversation, you are never on time. Well, that person gonna say, wrong. I'm on time sometimes. These two words contribute to the most defensiveness from people when you start out your sentences that way. So other word pairs, fair and not fair. Same and different. Before and after. Before and after. Might and maybe. Okay, so all throughout, oh, one that I missed, now and later. Now and later. I forgot to do that one. Now and later is so important for your ADD folks. Because if you met anybody who owns up to being ADD, hello, me, ringleader number one, they just do not deal in any other mode except for now or later. And you'll hear them often, and I'm guilty of it. I'm totally guilty of it. You'll hear them often talking about something that they procrastinated on doing, and it ain't because they deliberately not doing that which is that they procrastinated on. What it is that they don't know anything but now or not now. They brain is just no in between now and not now. So whatever it is you wanted them to do, if they don't do it now, you can forget about later. It ain't gonna happen because they're gonna be done forgot. I know that's me. I'm guilty of that 100% all the time. So I deal with my family that way. Now that I know that that's how I am, look, I just said cold, clean. Look, I'm not going to do that right now, period. Or I'll do it later after I do this particular thing. That way, you don't run into making somebody else angry because you ain't doing it right now. Because the ADD people can't stand when you're not doing it right now. It's either now or not now. Ain't no in between for them. I don't know if you got any in your family, but I know in my family it's abundant. We got a lot of those. Now or not now is a big problem. So the word pair we're gonna focus on this lesson is same and different. Same and different. And I copied the pictures worksheets out of the workbook so that you could download these pictures. And so if you got a little preteen, you're going to be using a dialogue or script to help them work out this color sheet. And so here's the directions. Okay, I'm going to read them out loud. Okay, use figure 1. Emphasize the ICPS words in capital letters with your voice. So as you're saying this is why you want to get familiar with these word pairs because you are going to be cueing your family in. It's going to be you. You the key to this. The moms are the key. Or dads who, it's single parent dads out there too. Parents is the key to this working. So the word pairs. I will give you example how even though my posterity, my grandchild wasn't officially trained with ICPS, he was doing something annoying. I told this story in the last class. He was sitting there tapping. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but tapping on the table, on my shelf right here. And all I did, because I got these words in the back of my head, I asked him, is that a good thing to do or is not a good thing to do? Instead of me telling him what to do, screaming because it was annoying to me, yelling to make him stop, I used that language to make him think. And so he thought about it. Then he answered the question. He said, not a good thing. Without me saying anything, I didn't have to guide him. I didn't have to badger him. I didn't have to nag him. I didn't have to get upset. Even though it was clearly annoying, I made him do the work of thinking. And then, without me even saying anything else, he stopped. He stopped out on his own. Why? Because he thought about it. This might not be a good thing to do, especially if she asking me, is this not a good thing to do? But it was him who did the thinking. He was the one that decided. I didn't decide for him whether or not it was a good thing to do. It was just me easing him into thinking about it himself. Do you think that's a good thing to do or not a good thing? And all on his own. He did the thinking. That's where we have to get to. Okay? So this sheet here, I'm going to provide these several sheets where you can introduce this as a game to your child. And what you can do is you can just give your child a crayon and this sheet of paper. You can download these sheets as much often as you like. This is me giving it away to you as a gift. And what you do, you will lead them in these games. So point to each object and ask your child to name it. So you would just point to each object. What is that? What is that? What is that? Sneakers. What is that? Tricycle. What is that? Beans. What is that? Book. What is that? Corn. What is that? Apple. What is that? Pencil. Banana. Carrot. Pear. Apple. If the child doesn't know the correct name, tell them the correct name if you need it. It's no big deal because there's no pressure. I remember showing y'all my granddaughter the ICPS game, and when I could only rattle out 4 things that I like or dislike, I forgot what it was I was saying, but she could think of 1,000 more. That is not what this game is about. About people thinking of more than the other person you outdoing. No, we all win by participating. When we participate in these games, we are all winning. Okay? So, the older child, you get them the crayon, and first we're going to play with some words. And the first word is same. And so then you would have them point out, circle two foods that are the same. And you let them do that. And then you let them color it in. Okay? And then circle 2 foods that are different. And you let them color that in. Now the next thing you do is ask them how are they different, because this is more work. Now they got to list the differences. And that's where the prefrontal cortex is working to make them think beyond just what they see, So say like they circle the cabbage, they circle the corn. You're going to be making them think when you say, now we have determined why these two are the same. I'm sorry, the camera is the opposite, so I can't point like I want to. Okay. So the next step is ask the same question. How are these different? The two vegetables or the two fruits, how are they the same and how are they different? That forces your brain to work and think outside the box. Thanks, Sis Trish. I know you still here. Thank you, Sis Trish. Okay. So the dialogue would continue on this whole page. So if a person point out, turn this way so I can remember which way to go. So you pick the cabbage and the corn. You would say, how are these the same? And the child would either say, well, they're both vegetables, or they're both vegetables that I like, or they're both vegetables that I yuck. Then also, you ask them, how are they different? In other words, you're forcing them to look at the very same thing and see it differently. So how are these two vegetables different? Okay, the cabbage and the corn is the same. They both start with C's, but one way they are different is this corn is long and this cabbage is round. When you have the same object and you force them to think of something different about that same object, that's what is being activated in critical thinking. That's what needs to be activated when you're trying to get people to critically think. Our biggest problems is us getting stuck on stupid. That's what I call it, where you get stuck and you absolutely cannot get unstuck from that idea. So you might see the child that say, see, it's on here, it's two apples. Okay. Now, if you ask that child, how are these different? That's going to be kind of difficult. So that's why you allow them to color it in. Because if the person picked these two apples, that would be difficult to come up with how are they different when that's the same thing. And that's where the exercise comes in. So I have copied all these pages and these word pairs, and what I think is going to be the easiest thing, because I wanted to just have you click a link, but it's only showing one page at a time. I want you to be able to download all these pages so you can work on this together with me, and come back next week and show me how you introduced it into your preteen and tell me what your outcome is. Um, I want you to use the log sheet, and I'm doing this too to hold myself accountable. Okay, so I really do want you guys to do this. So you start with the log sheet, and for me, my problem situation is my grandchild won't knock on the door before she come into my room. So that's a problem that we want to work on. And as we progress through the ICPS, this log will give you how you solved it now without any training. And later we want to go back and revisit and see how we solved the same situation with the training. Okay? So this is the one exercise for the children that I want you to do. And I'm gonna provide you a link where I uploaded these pages so you can print them out for your stuff. So I have these, and I do have them all scanned in. So I will provide you a link where you can download it for yourself. Now, now I'm going to share my screen again. Now this is the exercise because, like I said, when I learned this ICPS, I was learning with a classroom of other mothers. So it made it a little bit easier to go through the progress of the program with other mothers, because when problems came up and we didn't know how to, figure it out, we had other mothers to give feedback off of, in terms of making this program work in your family. That's okay, Keisha. It's okay. Shoot, you already helped me out tremendously because typing that in is perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you. Because I'll forget. I'm trying to promote my channel and I forget to promote myself. So I appreciate that, Keisha. I appreciate that a lot. The exercise that I'm gonna have the grown folk do, and I'm gonna have you do it right now in this chat. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring up a picture. And as soon as I bring it up, I'm going to ask you to do something. And believe me, it's hard for some people. It's very hard. Okay. Now I'm going to share this screen. Okay. And it's sharing. Okay, it's sharing now. Okay. Now, this is what I want y'all to do right now in the chat right now. Say something nice about this picture. Say something nice. See, this is hard. And I shared the story of where I was an admin in a group where they had 170,000 members. So some of there was an outrageous number, 70,000 members or a bunch of members in this group. And it was a roast and gag group, and what they literally would do would go in people's YouTube or Facebook profiles and pull up the picture and just roast the crap out of them, which ain't really nice. It's like, it's funny, it's hilarious until it's you. So me, what I would do is I would come up with these pictures and put up there, as the status, say something nice. And you could see these thousands of people come on there and they could not come up with not one thing. That is a problem. All right, you got it. You getting that proves you got the ability to think outside the box. Thank you, Keisha. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, Cindy, you say you can't stand Jay Wilson. She said Jay Wilson. Okay. I'm gonna say that's a cheerful smile. That's what I'm gonna put in there. Cindy said she can't find nothing. Cindy said she can't find nothing nice. I'm gonna say that's a cheerful smile you have. This is a problem. Now I don't mean no harm, but Cindy, if you can't find one thing, that is the problem. That one way thinking is a problem in life. You got to be able to always see another side. In fact, even if you go into the courtroom, you said, "I'm sorry, that's all I see." Sometimes it can be more difficult than other times, but you at least have to attempt to try. And like I said, when I would do this to the group with the thousands of members, it would be plenty of people that come on there and they do come up with something that'd be very interesting too. In fact, when I that would give me a clue into who I wanted to be friend in that group too. Because when I could see you could think outside the box, you are somebody that I fucks with, as they say. That's all. That's all it takes, Cindy. You did it. You played the game right. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. Okay. That is exactly what I wanted you to do. So the ideal is not to have to come up with a number of things, just one thing. One thing, making your brain work to go to that one thing it's technical terms for that. In fact, I call it ICPS, but this is really a fancy term for what we're doing. And that fancy term is called intermittent cognitive problem solving. And you need to be able to reach and tap into that part of the brain that's hard to reach when you just use your eyes to do it. And it can be particularly hard if you dislike a person, because look what happened with the example I gave about the Trump and Hillary. So what you're doing is this intermittent cognitive problem solving. That's what you're doing. You are forcing the brain. It's a fancy term. Like I said, this lady who wrote this book studied for years, studied and studied for years behavior. And this is a program they came up with because they realized that, and this is particularly true in inner cities, inner city, urban areas. You find a lot of this one way thinking, which is how your young men is getting into gangs, and you don't understand why. You didn't raise them like that. They didn't have a background like this. Miss Nay, now this beautiful picture is going to be stuck in my. I just wanted you to work that brain, that part of your brain. That part of that brain would just force you to have to look at that differently instead of just automatically, oh, that's a terrible picture. That forces you to look at a thing differently. Um, that is the point and purpose. So that's why, when we play in these games, if you introduce it to your family, make sure you talk to your family and say, look, this is not a competition. I just want you to play. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be interesting. Would you like to play? That's half the battle, because I got an oppositional. If I just force it on her, yeah, let's, we finna play the ICS. Oh. But when I ask her, would you like to play? And she got a choice, then I play. And I only play when she wants to, because the game goes out the window if you forcing it on anybody. You gonna meet with resistance. But if you got the oppositional, it's easy to get them to cooperate with you. Like my oppositional is a foodie, so I said, well, if you play the ICPS game, after we play that, we can make some brownies. Oh, then she all in. She going for it. But if I just, I want you to learn how to problem solve. Can you problem solve? That ain't gonna be too interesting to her. So I'm gonna give you one more. Let's see, can I open that one up? I hope I can. Okay, I hope this works with the sharing part. I'm learning this StreamYard, so bear with me. And our ICPS session is about to end shortly because my family is back, and I got an all eyes on me type of family. Okay, you try to share my screen again. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh boy, I tried to stream the second picture. I'm gonna just use it from the internet again. I was trying to get fancy so the picture would be bigger. Oh, got my little one. Come here. I'm gonna see if she opposition. Oh, um, I'm trying to add this to this shared. Okay. All right, here we go. Get ready to share.
Funny as hell, man.
Okay, I think I lost everybody, but I'm apologize. My family managed to reach for something and kick everything out of the outlet, everything electrical. The stream probably ended on Facebook. But anyway, I just came back to explain. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean for it to end abruptly. But I'll see you back here next Thursday. And your assignment, hopefully, if I don't mess up. Yeah, I think. Hey, Keisha, you still here? Boy, you are. Boy, you are. I give you credit. You definitely loyal. I appreciate that. I just wanted to come on and explain, and I see that as a sign. My family's here. The house is full. One is being potty trained, so I can't bring her on so she can bask in some of the cuteness. But anyway, I'm just coming back to say I apologize. My family kicked out the electricity, cut off everything, lights, computers, the phones. That was an accident. We didn't mean it to end that way. But I hope that I can see you back next week. And the pages that I want you to download to your computer, I'm going to put up a link in this video, in the description, in this video. And that way you can download all the pages. You're going to be able to download the keywords that I want you all to get familiar with and some assignments or worksheets that you can use with your older kids. The younger kids, I still want you to use the games in this book. And the Y game is the first one that is introduced. And I introduced it to myself because it's the easiest. Anyway, I'm getting ready to spend the time with my family while they're here. Come here. Let's see if she come. She kind of oppositional too. Come here. Is she coming? She's still on the pot.
Mm-mm.
Come here.
Right.
She ain't coming.
You're not.
Come here. Hey. Look. Say hi. Hi. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
She learning the potty. Ooh, you learning pot. Good girl. See y'all. That's the newest one, and she's not too young to get these concepts because she was smart enough. She's smart enough to say no and yes. And she just got to be a little bit more verbal, just a little bit more, and she'd be all right with these thinking games. It's not too soon. It's not too soon. This my youngest grandchild from my baby. This my baby's baby. Anyway, y'all, we getting off this. Peace and love. You want to do peace and love? Peace and love.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Peace out.
She said, peace out. Give me a high five. See, she verbal enough. She said, peace out, high five. Okay. All right, see y'all. I'm going to end it here.
Mommy. Mommy. Look.
Look. So y'all homework assignment is to download. I'm going to put it on my community page. Download the worksheets. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You want to say bye again?
Bye.
She want to say bye again. Bye-bye.